Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.
Welcome to Marketplace with Charles, where dreams are turned into reality. Marketplace is brought to you by Art of Skincare, the company that brings out the beauty in you, as well as Guwisa Lodge from deep in the heart of Mabalingwe Nature Reserve. I am Katie West, standing in for Charles Ngobeni. The Marketplace, what we do is empower and equip you with tools needed to achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week, we bring you insights from experts from different fields within business, from men as well as women of faith. Now, as if the 21st century lifestyle was not stressful enough, the current COVID-19 pandemic has destroyed many people's lives, in some cases even dreams, in more ways than we can imagine. Human existence has and is being tested to the limits, where only the fittest will survive. Today we have Lundi, and we will discuss some of the issues that you need to be aware of when it comes to your journey as well as the life within leadership. He is the founder of Awaken, a life and leadership consultancy firm. Welcome, Lundi, as well as myself, to your home, your hotel room, or wherever you are watching us from today. Lundi, hello and welcome to the Marketplace with Charles.
Hello, Kitty. Thank you for having me, and a good day to all our viewers.
We are so happy to have you here. Now, in a nutshell, what does Awaken do? What is it all about?
Well, as you've already mentioned in your intro, Awaken is a life and leadership consultancy. So what we do is we listen to people's stories and the stories they tell themselves so that we can help them find acceptance, purpose, and fulfillment. So we essentially see human beings as spiritual beings living in physical creation. Therefore, our purpose is to help people align their spirit, mind, and body with absolute truth.
Now, every time I hear somebody speak and answer that way, it sounds like the reason for the business is a purpose thing. I might be correct. You let me know. What was the inspiration behind you starting a business in this field?
So the journey started about 9 years ago when I had a major setback in my corporate career where I did not get the promotion that I deserved, or at least I thought I deserved, right? And as a result of having to respond to this disappointment, I ended up reading a book by Bob Buffett called Half Time. And this book essentially said that for the first half of our lives as human beings, we all out to get. So looking to get the promotion, get the house, get the car. But when we're in the second part of our lives, we effectively look to make a contribution. So I then decided that I'll accept the challenge and begin to live my life from that point onward as someone who makes a significant contribution. But the biggest challenge was then discovering what do I have? Because you need to understand the gifts and talents you have. So once you discover those, you develop them. And now I'm at a phase in my life where I'm deploying them through the work I do with Awaken.
Sure. And just listening to your inspiration story, I'm inspired to hear all about this and what's the significance of it. But I want to take you back a bit to something you said. Yeah. Why did you feel that you deserved the promotion?
Well, mainly because when it's set out, usually within the corporate space, you're given a time frame that within so many years, if you do such and such, you'll get the promotion. So the thing for me was I had set that for myself. I figured I was ambitious, involved in enough projects for it to happen. But there was obviously certain things that I did not realize at the time. So when it did not happen, I felt I was wronged. And because I had to move on and understanding that bad days tell more than good days, I had to figure out what was in me that I needed in order to move back from the setback.
Okay, so basically the space you were in was no longer listening to what's happening within you. Now you've moved into an industry that requires you to sit down and listen to people. We don't do that often. So what called you into a space of sitting down and actually listening to people?
So, as I mentioned to you, when I began the journey to discover and develop my talents, after some meditation time, meaning thinking at length and at depth about the Word of God, I was challenged when I realized that although I was a leader, I did not love people. So that shook me to the core. And in wrestling with that, I then discovered that at the end of the day, if I was someone who knew the scriptures work as if you're working for the Lord, but yet I would still end up idolizing my career. How many people who might be in the same boat as I am? So I decided to create Awaken to try and help people awaken to the reality of who they are. And a key part of that has to deal with acceptance, purpose, and finding fulfillment.
So that means you take a lot into consideration of what goes on in us, with us, whenever we face problems, right? So how would you scientifically, in a way that me and the other entrepreneurs at home can understand, what are the fundamental pillars when it comes to human challenges?
So I love your question there, which means you're looking for evidence, right?
Yes.
So it's important to understand that scientific evidence is a type of evidence. So I'll answer your question this way. So faith is the substance of things hoped for. And a substance is the very essence and the reality of the thing itself. So at Awaken, when we use the pillar of faith to build a life of significance, then the question becomes, how does your spirit find rest and recuperation? How do you nourish your spirit? And which exercises give your spirit vitality to build a life of significance? And now to your scientific evidence. So our primary form of rest and recuperation is sleep. So if you currently sleep less than 8 hours a night, you're currently sleep deprived. So as you mentioned in your intro, that in the 21st century, our lifestyle is very stressful. So you would be surprised to know that sleep deprivation is linked to a multiple of our lifestyle diseases today. Your heart attacks, your strokes, your cancers, and the 3Ds, your depression, diabetes, and dementia. So when it comes to nourishment, most people tend to think of diets or what to eat.
Yes.
So at Awaken, we encourage people to refrain their thinking when it comes to nutrition and think of, rather than feeding your belly, you're eating to feed your cells. And in that way, you then focus on creating a healthy immune system. And as we've seen currently, because of COVID, if your system is already compromised, it can wreak havoc to your health. And then when it comes to physical exercise, we tend to focus more on the development of strength, joint mobility, and flexibility.
Yes.
So that is the holistic way of building optimum health and wellness in our lives, because whatever your dreams are, you need optimum health and wellness in order to give yourself the best ability of achieving that.
So you're approaching the optimum wellness as a whole, not just in bits and pieces, how we define nutrition. But I want to take you back to something you said, which is very popular. We must have 8 hours of sleep. Obviously, that idea came from somewhere. But now there are people watching, and they're thinking, I function at my optimum best when I've only had 4 hours of sleep, when I've only had 6 hours of sleep, when I sleep twice a day. So why should I be following this trendy or popular advice of 8 hours a day?
All right. So at the end of the day, it's important to understand that there's a lot of lifestyle diseases that we have, and all of our diseases, 95% of them are effectively lifestyle. So when most people think of health and wellness, they tend to think of exercise and nutrition. So the importance of bringing in sleep, there's a lot of health benefits that we get. So for example, if you sleep long enough, your 8 hours, and you have enough hours of deep sleep, there's a lot of things that your body does. Earlier, I mentioned that you get dementia. So during our waking hours, our body produces a toxic protein known as beta amyloid. So now when you sleep and you get enough hours of sleep, the body has a normal waste reduction, which excretes this toxic protein from your body. So when you do not get enough hours of sleep, that protein is not removed from your body, and that has been found to be linked to things like Alzheimer's. And given that as human beings, we tend only to act when there's an urgency on something rather than treating it as important, because dementia is something that happens further along our lives, we tend to ignore it. But it has also been found that when we do not get enough sleep, our blood pressure rises, because when we sleep, our body tends to drop its temperature by 1 degree so that it facilitates sleep. So when you do not get enough hours of sleep, you lose that natural body function of, which is like a blood pressure reboot. So a key way, I would say, you need to consider all the 4 pillars when you're looking at health and wellness. If I were to ask you, what car do you drive, what would you say?
You want to know what car I drive?
Yes.
I actually sold my car more than a year ago, so I'm getting driven around right now.
All right, aren't you lucky? But the most important thing is, what would you consider the most important part in your car when you had it?
The steering wheel.
The steering wheel, right? So now let's say you have 2 flat tires, right? You'd still be able to drive your car, but you just would not be able to get where you need to get to as efficiently as you need. But the most important thing is, you drive your car with 2 flat tires, you're doing damage to the car. And so it is with our health. If we ignore any pillar or any 2 of the pillars, we are doing damage to ourselves. So it's important to look at our health holistically.
Okay. Now I really want to look at my health holistically based on the way you've said it. Now, going back to COVID stresses, what happened when the lockdown began here in South Africa around end of March, early April, we saw numbers in gender-based violence rise to more than 2,000, and there was loitering of alcohol outlets. What do you deduce from that?
In my initial response to that, I think it's very important to understand that the ability for one to lead is always determined by how well they follow. So whether it's you following a certain set of values and principles, but the biggest impact you can have on your leadership ability is who you follow. So when it comes to issues such as gender-based violence, what we have picked up in our conversations with men is that generally as men, we tend to have 2 feelings, either anger or happiness. And we're not able to differentiate between being hurt, being disappointed. We always tend to move towards anger. And there's this general sense where we feel there's an attack on men, and therefore, having grown up in a society that says men do not have emotions, indoda aikali, that has effectively created a lot of monsters. So the one thing that we do, if you do not control your emotions, you then respond in a violent manner, particularly when we live in a society that tells us that we should do what our feelings tell us to do.
Yep.
And when it comes to the alcohol thing, alcohol is an interesting drug, because if you look at how it has been socialized in our society, that it is effectively not seen as a drug, right? It's seen as something that gives you status. You use it to celebrate huge achievements. But at the end of the day, how many people who regularly on a Friday night would go out for drinks with friends, when the lockdown happened and they did not have that option, now all of a sudden all hell break loose simply because they realized they were addicted to a substance. I think as far as alcohol abuse is concerned, it's important, yes, alcohol is an enjoyable beverage, but it's important to ensure that you are in control of the habit, that you do not drink at every and any given occasion, that you find appropriate outlets to deal with your stress in life. And generally, as men, it's important to understand that we have a higher calling in our society, and our women should feel safe and protected. And it's important to surround yourself with men where you can talk about the real issues that are bothering you. Because generally as men, we do not talk. We'll be going through traumatic experiences, but all we care about and are passionate about is the football. But yet we don't discuss the things that really matter. So find someone who you can chat to and help you deal with your life challenges.
Find someone who you can talk to who will help you deal with your life challenges, and that someone could be Awaken.
Yes.
You said it or I said it, it doesn't matter. That's the way we should do it. For now, we're going to a short ad break. Don't you go nowhere. I'll be back with my guest, Lundi.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.
You made it back. Welcome to Marketplace with Charles Ngobeni, but with Ketiwe for today. Let's continue with our guest, Lundi. Lundi, Awaken. You speak of four principles. Explain to us how they flow into each other and how they assist the individual to achieve the desired outcomes.
All right, cool. So basically what we focus on is the 3 pillars that speak to your physical wellness.
Oh, is it 3?
No, it's 4.
Okay.
It's 4. But there are 3 that speak to your physical wellness, which is rest and recuperation, nutrition, and exercise. But our emphasis at Awaken is to anchor your life on the firm foundation of faith. Because when you do that, the question then becomes, how does your spirit find rest? How does your spirit find nourishment? And how does your spirit find exercises that give it vitality? So the key thing of anchoring your life on the firm pillar of faith is that you then find answers to your spirit finds rest and recuperation in the universal law and principles of the universe. And being a person of faith, you find rest in the person of Christ. Then what does give your spirit nourishment? It is purpose. It is living in God's will. What will give your spirit vitality? It is praise and worship, how you use the gift of your mouth, because the power of life and death is in the tongue. Yes. Meditation, which means to think at length and at depth on the Word of God, which is your prayer and Bible reading. And it is the community of believers through which you surround yourself in. So we've got 4 pillars, which effectively, by anchoring them on your pillar of faith, you're then focusing on your spiritual wellness and physical wellness at the same time. So people always want to be able to measure what they need to do. So first and foremost, the purpose of faith is to connect us to our Creator. So when you start there, then it means whatever you receive from your Creator, you then share it with the people around you.
Yes.
And relationships are a huge source of stress in the 21st century, right? And as a result of COVID and lockdown, where you find people in relationships can no longer hide behind the work that they do. They're now working at home, they're with each other 24/7. So by building your life on the firm foundation of faith, you're then also managing to deal with relationships, because we are social beings after all. So social distancing does not work. It's actually physical distancing. So it's important to understand, once you build your life on the pillar of faith, then you rest and recuperation. Physically, you sleep. Your goal is 8 hours. So currently, if you're sleeping 5 to 8 hours, don't try and say, okay, from tonight, after the show, I sleep 8 hours. It's not going to work. The whole idea is small incremental changes. So if you're currently sleeping 5 hours, make sure that you're going to add 15 minutes this week. Let's see how you do for the next 7 days. You do that for 7 days, you add another 15 minutes, so that over a 3-4 month period, you've then added 2 to 3 hours sleep. And the beauty of making small incremental changes is that you begin to see how your body benefits with more hours of sleep. And when you go back to losing hours of sleep, that will be painful for you, which then reinforces the good habit of sleeping enough. When it comes to nutrition, we've got this acronym, ORIA. So the O is basically to observe. So when it comes to your eating, observe why you eat, when you eat. because most of the time we tend to be emotional eaters. So when you understand why you eat and you're mainly reframing your thinking, you're not eating to feed your belly, you're eating to feed your cells, because your body needs nutrients so that it can grow and heal itself. Then the next thing is when it comes to exercise, simple form of exercise, you can walk. We don't have gyms at the moment because of COVID, so we have to find ways where we're working on joint mobility and flexibility. We can walk, because all exercise is a specific way of moving the body. So the more we get into that, the better it is. And now when it comes to the exercises that give our body, our spirit vitality, it's important that we start with first things first. So maybe you could start with 15 minutes of fulfillment. Then as time goes on, that will grow to 30 minutes to thrive. And when you really have honed in the habit of starting your life on the firm pillar of faith, it could be an hour of power and you've set your day to win.
And you know, I could sit here and listen to you for another hour, because you've got so much to give, right? Awaken does so much, but we've only got a few more questions to go, but I will not leave this one out before we get to the end, Lundi. Sure. I want to understand, what approach do you advise your clients to employ when it comes to recognizing and addressing challenges within their life and leadership lives?
So at the end of the day, a key thing of what we do is we listen. Right, because everybody out there has got a story to tell. And more often than not, you'll also find in your personal space where you've had people trying to hold on to the mic so that they could get to tell their story. So a key thing of what we do, we listen to people so that they can feel heard. And also it's quite therapeutic to hear your own voice something. And a key part of what we do is establish a relationship with our clients, because my interaction with my clients is driven by what I have received from my creator. Therefore, it's important that I listen, that I may be able to speak the word of God into your life. In that way, God is able to meet you where you are, and then you begin your journey with God to the better life and begin to make the changes that you need. So effectively, I have 12 questions which I will ask a potential client to fill in for me. And the purpose of that is to help people become aware of how they got to view the world the way they do. So most people do not understand the values that they have and what drives their actions. So a part of our interaction is to help people become aware of how they got to see the world that they see it, and we then help them if there are any inconsistencies in those beliefs, if there are any beliefs that are effectively warring against each other, or if there are any beliefs that are effectively in unison. And we'll always ask the potential client, what is their specific reason for wanting to work with a life strategist? In that way, that helps us to focus in to help them solve a particular problem that they want to overcome or make a particular change that they want to work in. And with the work that we do with Awaken, we obviously broaden the spectrum, and we will continue with the program depending on the progress and where the client wants to go. Because all we do is offer the opportunity for holistic change, but they have to accept it, and then we work together to bring the desired change.
So it sounds to me like you're saying, when you sit down with me, the said client, yes, I'm the client in this case, on the Marketplace with Charles, it sounds like you're saying it is God sitting down with me through you so that you can feed off my creator about my purpose and what I should be doing. The question I want to ask is about the client, actually, in terms of who's your target market, and do you also include corporates within that target market?
All right, so at this present time, it is, who is the man who loves long life? Who is the man who loves a good life? Who is the man who wants to see the length of its days? Who is the man who wants to make a significant impact in their place of work? Who is the man who wants to turn their ambition into real success? And who is the man who wants to be a great husband? Who's the man who wants to be an awesome father? If this is you, Awaken is here for you, because we believe there's a special voice that is absent and missing in our society, because a certain group of men have been quiet for too long, And we are giving you the opportunity to have your voice back.
It's been an awesome pleasure listening to you, taking that all in. I hope people watching us from hotel rooms or their homes have also taken down notes of what to implement in their lives. Thank you so much. It's been a total pleasure, like I said. Please go ahead and give our viewers all your contact details, how they can reach you for future services that they may need from you.
Thank you for having me, Ketty. I've had a wonderful time chatting to you. So your viewers can get a hold of me on Instagram. It's Awaken South Africa Online, or on our website, awakensouthafrica.co.za, or you can catch me on LinkedIn, Lundi Petse.
Thank you so much. Well, there you have it. That was my guest, Mr. Lundi Petse. Let us meet again next week, same time, same place, to empower one another. Don't forget to check out the repeat of this episode Wednesdays early in the morning as you start your day. Yes, that's 1 a.m. on this very same channel. You can also view more repeats of this program by subscribing to our YouTube channel, Marketplace with Charles Ngobeni. I assure you that you will not regret that decision. Thank you for watching Marketplace with Charles Ngobeni, brought to you by Art of Skincare. Do remember that you can contact the show via charlesngubeni.com, as well as Instagram, Charles_Ngubeni, and find him on Facebook, that is Charles Ngubeni. And to reach me, Ketty Wepagati, on Facebook, it's my Ketty Speaks Life. See you then, and God bless.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.